Everyone, and thank you for joining us. Today, we want to share a little bit more information about the contest we're launching on the Eco project, which is called Eco Soil Challenge Soil Stories. We're going to start with a brief introduction of the Eco project in case you are not up to date and you want to have a little bit more information. And then I'm going to share more details about the contest. So I'm going to leave the floor to Tanya Mimbo, coordinator of the project.
Thanks, Katharina, for introducing this webinar. Welcome to everybody. I'm Tanya Mimo. I'm the coordinator of ECO. I will be trying to share the screen if everything works out technically. So I will give you a brief introduction about what the project is about, and then I'll leave the floor then later to Katharina, which goes into detail then about the context. So the title of our project, Engaging Citizens in Soil Science, The Road to Healthier Soil, is research innovation action that started in June 23. I just move you a little bit on the right so you see the slides, or you should see the slides even a little bit better. So the main aim is to engage citizens in protecting and restoring soils by building their skills and enhancing their knowledge. You see, I'm not alone in this effort, but we are a large bunch of people. We are 16 partners all over Europe, from the east to west, the north to the south. And as I said, core business are citizen science initiatives that started last year and will be going on the whole year 26. And we are almost entering the last year of the project. Let's see if they should move the slides. Yeah, they're moving. Of course, the main objectives I just told you, but I always like to say that the three main pillars of our project are these ones that you see here. So to engage, empower, enable citizens. So we are engaging them by increasing their knowledge and stimulating the interest in soil health. We're empowering citizens and inviting them to take an active role, because they are very active at the moment, collecting soil and assessing soil health. And then, of course, we're not just delivering the data, but we are enabling also the citizens to use the citizen science generated data. What are we doing in our project? Of course, the citizen science initiatives, that's our main core business, and we are doing them in all the member states across Europe, so 28 tailor-made citizen science initiatives, because we developed those initiatives, we co-created them with the citizens right from the beginning. We involved also the citizens right from the beginning to develop also all the materials we're delivering then to the citizens. So the Citizen Science Toolkit, also all the open access field guides, the protocols, and also the Eco app. What's the aim? We will, and they are already doing it, we will, in the end of the project, we will assess 16,500 sites all across Europe, as I said, many times already, so across different land uses, across different biogeographic regions. Of course, where do data end up? We created a repository online that's called EcoRepo, so all the citizens can access this EcoRepo, see their data there, see also the data of other citizens, so they have a picture of what is going on European scale. 28, so in 9 countries. We started already 9 last year, and now we're starting the so-called second iteration, so we started in other remaining European countries. Of course, a lot of material, we developed a lot of material, and they are all available on our website and also on our socials, so I kindly, or everybody who's interested in, to check our socials and to look up for our materials. What is also really important, they are not only in English, but they are available in many other languages. So there shouldn't be any language barrier to access our materials. Of course, core business is soil health assessment. So that's our Eco app on the left side here, and the Eco kit with all the components that come within a box to every citizen science delivered through our ambassadors. And here on the right, you see all the soil health indicators that are being assessed by the citizens. And those two between the dashed lines are biodiversity and pollutants that are so-called assessed off-sites, because those samples are shipped then to our labs at the University of Bolzano, and we assess them in our labs. As I said, EcoRepo, so that's just a snapshot of what is going on. That's actually a picture from yesterday. We are now about 4,300 sites assessed across Europe. So the numbers are growing day by day, minute by minute almost. So keep tracking on the EcoRepo, and it's really interesting what's going on in Europe. What else? We have the Soil Lab 14. That's a kind of it's a game, so that also aims to increase also the awareness, the soil literacy across Europe. So it would be nice if you have time and yeah, check it out on our socials. Of course, our website, that's also just a screenshot. So I kindly invite you who wants to know more about our project, our website. We are also on Facebook, we are on LinkedIn. And yeah, that was a short panorama, let's say, about our project. I hope you got interested, and I thank you for your attention, and I hand over to Katerina. And thanks for listening.
Thank you, Tanya. I'm going to share my screen so that Keith can. Thank you, Tanya. So let me share my screen and go ahead with a bit more information regarding the soil challenge we were talking about. Let me just clear out my screen a little bit better. So here you can see we're gonna dive into details regarding the EcoSoil Challenge soil stories. I actually would like to start with giving you a little bit of the contest aims first. So the contest actually aims to first raise awareness about the importance of soil for ecosystems, food security, and climate, as well as engaging students, teachers, and citizens through creative and scientific activities, promote the use of the eco-sampling kit or the Soil Lab for Teens that were just briefly shown by Tanya Mimo. And lastly, we aim to encourage science communication and creative storytelling about soil. Let me show you now the contest categories. So for this specific contest, we imagine to divide into 4 categories. And for each category, we are gonna then select 3 winners. Let me show you and describe a little bit better each category. So category 1 is intended for children aged 6 to 10, which means primary school. Then we define category 2 as for children age 11, 13, which means lower secondary school. Then category 3 is for young people age 14 to 19, which is upper secondary school. We also defined a 4th category, which is intended for the EcoSoil ambassadors. For category 1 to 3, submission are made for on the behalf of the class or groups, but we are asking adults to submit the projects or any kind of submission they're deciding to submit as teachers or educators I just said, on the behalf of the class or the group. Then what can participants submit? So as we were saying, we really would like the submission to be starting as an inspiration from any kind of the eco project material developed. Tanya showed us and described all the materials we have developed as a project. And so we would really like the submission to be inspired by the eco sampling kit or the soil lab for teens. And so any kind of creative, scientific, or educational project inspired by the eco materials, it's highly appreciated, and it's something we would like to see submitted. Let me just go through some examples of submission. So a submission may include drawings or collages. They can include photos or infographic experiments or educational projects, videos, reels, podcasts, or musical content. Feel free to reinterpret the materials such as the Soil Lab for Teens or the Eco Sampling Kit as you prefer. And we would really like to see some creativity in terms of communication of the soil knowledge being submitted through this contest. Tanya already showed a little bit like what the materials coming from the eco projects are, but I wanted again to just give you a brief overview of such materials. So one of the materials we suggest using as a sort of like starting point, inspirational point for the submission of the contest is the eco sampling kit. Tanya already showed you this kit, which is indeed the Project Citizen Science Toolkit, which is designed to empower you to contribute to valuable environmental research. So inside the kit, as you can see on the left side, a beautiful drawing like showing a little bit of what you can find inside that toolkit, that box. So you can find a clear and detailed instructions to walk you through each step of the citizen science journey and all the tools you will need, such as test tubes, like the shovel, the spoon, and so on. And with these tools and our user-friendly app, which was also mentioned by Tanya a few minutes ago, you will be able to become an essential member of the Eco Citizen Science Initiative. This way, helping to deepen our collective understanding of the environment and also familiarize with the soil itself. So if you don't have one yet, if you don't have one of our eco sampling kit yet, but you are curious about it, you could download the EcoSoil app and use it to connect with an EcoSoil ambassador to get started. And that could be, as I was saying, a starting point for your contest submission as well. Another thing we were mentioning is the Soil Lab for Teens. Again, Tanya briefly mentioned this in her presentation as well, but I just wanted to spend a few more words just so that you can maybe get a little bit more understanding of how you could use it in terms of this contest. So the Soil Lab for Teens is an online educational kit which is focusing on soil, its structure, functions, and ecosystem services. So it's approaching the conversation and the discussion and dissemination on the soil topic in the most holistic way possible, touching on all the characteristic of soil and how it is essential for our lives and climate change situation and so on. So this game is structured in 6 levels of games. It does have also information preparatory to the game and insights after each game. It does also contain science labs and experiment sheets. So if you haven't checked it out yet, you can go on the ECO website under resources and you can find the Soil Lab for Teens. How can you use this online educational kit for the submission of the contest or any kind of production you may want to then submit to the contest? Well, you don't necessarily need to use it as a whole. Of course, you can decide to use part of it as, again, part of the project or just as a starting point, and then you can feel free to reinterpret that topic in a more creative way or in a way that suits your situation better. But just feel free to use it, either the information like the lab sheets or a specific game you may find it's best for your contest and your situation. So feel free to check it out and use it as you best feel like it could be used in your context. And then just to make it super easy, I wanted to share with you how you can reach out to the contest and to the contest additional information. So if you go on the ECO website, you see at the very beginning in the home page, you happen to see the Rise to Eco Soil Challenge sort of tab happening here. And if you go on the Eco Soil Challenge Soil Stories light green tab and click on it, you end up in the Eco Soil Challenge Soil Stories page. In this page, you end up having a lot of information about the contest. Most of them we already checked it out together now, and I'm going to share some more information as well. But you can also find here more detailed information for specific categories or specification you may have doubts about. So feel free to check it out, and it could help you better understand if you happen to have some questions right now. It may have the answers you're looking for already. And if you scroll down to this page, you end up in the submission section where you can enter all the information asked. It's brief information about who is submitting the project to the contest, and then upload the material you want to submit and just give us a little bit of an overview and a brief summary of the submission. So that is how you can submit your project. Then, just so that you are aware, we wanted to share a little bit of the timeline as well with you. So the contest just opened on the 10th of March, and the submission deadline is intended to be on the 9th of November 2026. Then the 16th of December 2026, we're announcing the winners, and then we're gonna have a final webinar with the winners at the beginning of the 2027, around 15th of January. So once the submissions are closed, we are going to evaluate the submissions, and the submissions will be evaluated by a jury composed of eco-consortium members with expertise in soil, communication, art, so that we are able to really understand your submissions and give credits to the ones we feel like are best approaching the topic and sharing in an innovative and creative way. As you can see here, evaluation will be made through some criteria, and we're going to work on a 1 to 5 scale, and we're going to focus on creativity and originality, as well as scientific accuracy, of course, and communication effectiveness and educational impact. As mentioned before, we are aiming to find and define 3 winners per category. So 3 winners for category 1, 3 winners for category 2, 3 winners for category 3, and then 3 winners for category 4. What are the winners gonna receive? Well, in terms of recognition and visibility, winning project will receive an official EcoSoil Challenge certificate, and we're gonna present those projects during the final webinar. Then we also will give the opportunity to meet with an eco expert during a virtual coffee chat, and we're also going to share eco gadgets. Then, of course, one thing we would like to do is also the publication of the winning projects on the eco website and social media channel, as long as the consent is given. This was supposed to be a very brief overview of the context itself, but please feel free to reach out for any doubts or questions. Really do not hesitate to contact us on this email, contact at ecosoil.eu. We're gonna make sure we are answering you as fast as possible. And as usually in these circumstances, what we say is, as everyone is saying during these circumstances, is that there's no silly questions. So feel free to reach out for any doubts, questions. If you have an idea you would like to submit, but not sure if it could fit the purpose or could fit the contest itself, regulation, feel free to reach out. And we're going to make sure we are answering you in the best way possible and as soon as possible. And I would say this is all from our side, and thank you a lot.